Darren, can you please lead us in pledge of allegiance?
Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's go and have a word of prayer.
That's right.
We're going to have a... Okay, before we get started, I want to give you an invitation on August the 13th at Bible Baptist Church. We got the Wills family coming in to sing Good Southern Gospel group. This is my first time praying in one of these meetings, and so if you have anything specific you'd like for me to pray about, please let me know, and so I can do that. This is first prayer, okay. Well, we need to start all on the right foot, amen?
Thank you, and I was going to ask for your name, because I was going to look up your name, too. So.
Chaplain McClellan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, let's have a word of prayer. Our Father, as we approach your throne today, we're so thankful that we can. We thank you for the fact, Lord, that you are a God that does answer prayer. And, Father, we do pray today for our firefighters and that they're up in Mariposa. Lord, we ask that you'd protect them, and Father, as they try to contain this fire, Lord, we ask that they'll be able to do it and put it out. Lord, protect them and get them home safely. And all those that are involved up there, Lord, we just ask that you have your hand upon them, and Lord, and protect them and get them home safely. We also pray, Lord, for this meeting today, Father, that as they discuss the fares of transportation and, Lord, the business that they have on hand, Father, I do pray that you'd give them wisdom, and Father, we ask that you'd speak to their hearts. And Father, we do pray today that everything that is said and done today would be that to glorify thy name. For we do ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you very much. And thank you to the city of Atwater as well for hosting today's meeting. And as well, just like the Reverend said, I want to thank everybody that's volunteered, especially pray for our firefighters, our public safety, and all the volunteers they're putting their lives out there as well, along with public safety officers. And, I've been out there to the shelter relief shelter in Planada, and another several in Sonora and around different the counties. So we pray for all the people fighting the fire, and I know it's grown to over 70,000 acres, so that's a lot. It's going to take a while for them, and on other businesses, people suffer as well. People are suffering because of normal business days to it's on the way to Yosemite, so coming in. Yeah, we put our hearts to all of them, and hopefully we can put out the fire as soon as possible. But you know what? If you can help out as much as you can, we welcome that. And like I said, the nearest shelter is in Planada, and I know the castle is very busy attending with all the airplanes and fuel and all that struggle that they're going through, and with the plane service. So thank you very much. So now at this time I'll go to approval of the agenda. Roll call, sorry, first.
Director Espinoza?
Here.
My apologies, Chair Espinoza.
Here.
Vice Chair McCabe?
Present.
Director Hogue?
Here.
Director Lohr?
Here.
Director McDaniel?
Present.
Director Murphy?
Here.
Director O'Banion? Director Oliveira? Director Pereira?
Here.
Director Price? Director Lewis?
Here.
That's it?
And our new Executive Director, Patrick Pittinger.
I'm not a board member, but thank you, I'm here.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
If I could, I just want to say that Mayor Price, or Director Price here at MCAG, is tied up, his services for the fire, so he's unable to be here. He did text me and said he wished he could be here, but because of business, he can't be here. His alternate may be showing up here shortly.
Yeah, as well as Jerry O'Banion and Mike Vialta, can be here today. So, and Deborah Lewis.
Director
Mike Peralta was called to jury duty today.
Right, so,
And I guess I just want to know which one of you called the jury commission to have him call it. Oh, it was you. I'll let him know.
No, I like you, so I...
Oh, okay.
well, let me take this time right now to also present our new Executive Director, Patrick Pittenger from, it's coming, I think, from Carson City, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you say a little bit about yourself, please?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. This is my first governing board meeting, my third week on the job, but I've been in this field for about 20 years in Wisconsin and Nevada. Excited to be here, and I've already gotten a chance to meet a lot of good folks in several different communities in the county, and I look forward to meeting more good people. And I know this is getting a little repetitious already, but taking advantage of the opportunities that we have with the regional transportation plan, with Measure V, and with some of the other things that are going on in the community. So we're looking forward to working with a lot of people in this room and others.
Yes, I think the board's all ready, so. Approval agenda? Is there a second? Second. Okay. First and second, any questions from the public? On the agenda? Okay. All right, if not, back to the board. Okay. First and second, okay, call for the question. All those ayes? Aye. Nays? Okay, passed. Okay, this time now we'll have public comment. I guess everybody has 3 or 5 minutes. It doesn't say on here, so.
One gentleman.
Yeah.
It's written at the beginning.
Okay, translations. Yes, you know.
This is the opportunity for anyone to address any item not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
It's usually stated on here, but, I was trying to read it. But, okay, next time we'll have it in. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, directors. I'm David Garcia Merced. I've come before this board from time to time, and with some new members added here in the last few months, I would like to reintroduce myself, just so you understand and appreciate where I am coming from. Now, a farmer can drive by someone else's place and from experience can tell if the trees look good or see some corn, cotton, tomatoes, alfalfa, vineyards, or whatever, and know if the crop looks good. A farmer can even tell just by looking at the dirt what they're going to plant. But more importantly, just by looking, a farmer can tell if something is not right and how it got there. Whether it's too much water, too little water, wrong timing, wrong chemical, too little chemical, whether the labor and equipment got prep work done in time and done right. An experienced farmer can tell the things just by looking. I am a heavy equipment mechanic with Merced County Public Works that had always done the maintenance for transit until October of 2015, when your transit manager decided to privatize the maintenance because it was cheaper. There's a reason it's cheaper. I and every mechanic in our shop have 3 trade licenses through the state of California, not some online certification. I'm a product of Merced College and have over 30 years of training and experience. Your minutes from the last time I was here stated that David Garcia felt that the maintenance on the filter system was not being monitored or fixed correctly. Let me explain this to you. Just like a farmer can tell if something is wrong with the crop, because of my training and experience, I can tell by the heavy black exhaust that what the maintenance provider hired by your transit manager actually did was remove the smog device from some buses, which is illegal, and I told you so then, just so they could avoid the penalty provision put in the contract by your transit manager. For the same reason, your maintenance provider put illegal lighting on at least one bus, which I have video proof of. I see buses with one headlight super bright and pointing upwards, while the other is very dim. This I can see in the daytime. To me, this really stands out. I guess anything just to be on the road, no matter if it is illegal. Your transit manager is going to tell you that there's a new maintenance supervisor hired a couple of months ago. I ask you this, are your constituents' lives something you want to wager on a maintenance training program with? Apparently so. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments by the public?
I could barely hear you. My name is Paul H. Garcia. I'm a resident of Delhi, California, and also Livingston, that I call home also as well. Honorable Chairperson Espinosa and honorable board members, I come before you to praise your staff for sending me the thank you letter that last time I appeared, and I said that I would come before you, in other words, and I'm not going to forget coming here. It's just that sometimes I couldn't even find this place here, see, so, and then also the roads are so terrible out here, Mr. I hope that with the funding that we receive here, that these roads could be improved also as well. Also, I just wanted to congratulate Mr. Espinosa for being chair, and also
Thank you, sir.
Alex McDade, the vice chair. So I really thank you, and I plan to attend and be very vocal in regards to giving public input in regards to the funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? If not, we'll close the public comments and move on to recognition of service.
Did you still
Do we want to, you want to set the, or unless we want to continue it and offer it to him next time? Yeah, let's continue and offer it to, give it to him next month. I think that would be better for him, so, thank you, Deborah. We'll move on to action item number 7, minutes. Item 8, Regional Waste Management Authority Board, meeting for May 18, 2017. Item B, Transit Joint Powers Authority for Merced County, meeting for May 18th, 2007. Item number C, Merced County Association of Governments Governing Board, meeting for May 18th, 2017. Item D, Merced Data Special Services, meeting for May 18th, 2017. Board?
I'll move.
Okay. June? Okay. I don't know if the meetings should be June. Can we double check on that?
June 15th.
Joey?
June 15th.
June 15th? So there should be, yeah, June 15th, not May 18th, right? Okay. So they all should be A, B, C, and D should be June 15th minutes and all the rest information, so. Okay, first by Director Darren, and a second by Mike Murphy. Okay. All those in favor? Well, any questions from the public on the minutes? No? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? No? Okay, pass. Item number 8, for information, Citizens Advisory Committee report, Robert Morse. Citizens Advisory Committee is part of the Merced County Association of Governments. His mission is to be the eyes, ears, and the voice of the citizens of Merced County and to make recommendations to the governing board concerning all areas of transportation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. You just stole my thunder. I was going to read that, but
okay.
I appreciate it. You did it much better than I could. There's not much to report. I was appointed to the board in February. I've been to all the meetings. We meet the first Friday of every month. At our last meeting, we approved 3 things. I think you folks have them in your packets. And we had a number of informational items that in the future we'll approve. From what I've seen so far with this committee, it's an awesome committee that we get along, we ask a lot of questions, a lot of important questions, and we are the voice of the community. Does anybody, I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any that I can.
And directors have a question?
Any easy questions? Easy. Hard ones we'll let somebody else answer.
No.
No questions?
No, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was just for information. I will go on to Transit Joint Powers Authority for Merced County. Item number 9, information only, oral report, Transit Joint Powers Authority for Merced County update. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Back to number 8.
Yeah, I attended the meeting last night, but my question is to the staff that gave this report right now. Actually, the information that was given, it didn't have no dates on the information, so it'd be helpful if they, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, the the board members that were there, but my wife is the one that caught that, and she said, look, there's no dates here, in other words, on the information that was given. So, and I overlooked that also as well until I got home, and I just wanted to bring that as well as a comment when they present this information, that at least put the date on it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. No. Yeah, Livingston. Now we'll move on back to number 9, oral report. Rich Green. Oh, we have a.
Good afternoon. I'm not Rich Green. I'm Mauricio Torres, Staff Service Analyst for the bus. Just want to inform you that Measure V, free fares for
If you
veterans.
can, please talk closely on the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Measure V, free fares for seniors, veterans, and ADL-eligible passengers went into effect July 1st, so we are now providing those free trips. As a result of this, we've had a lot of inquiries about the measure and the way we are providing the fares. We've defined the ADA-eligible passengers as those who are currently using our paratransit system or have Medicare cards with government-issued IDs. We want to make sure that we don't exceed our proposed budget for that, for the first year. Second, we have been working with a new planning software tool to optimize the bus operations and shifts to reduce delays in service. So as a result of that, we will be implementing route and schedule adjustments that will go into effect on Monday, August 7th. This is to match the real-time drive patterns and attempt to make better connections for our bus system. We've also upgraded our dial-a-ride and paratransit scheduling software. A text-to-option service began on Monday, and we have been notifying passengers that they can sign up for this feature to receive a text message to notify them when their bus is scheduled to arrive. Automated phone calls are scheduled to begin on Monday, July 24th. Rich will be scheduling to be on the Los Banos, Dos Palos, Gustine City Council meetings to give a presentation on the dial-a-ride and paratransit service options with the new software upgrade. And we are also releasing an RFP for a project manager to handle construction projects, including operations and maintenance facility and bus stops. The deadline to submit is July 21st. The interviews will be held July 31st, and we'll be bringing contract for approval in August board meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other?
Any questions by the directors?
Is there some recognition button down here?
No, just I think the mic's on.
Just raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay. You said that there would be a presentation for the west side on, I assume, the fares and other information. Is there a date set for that already?
There has not one been set yet.
Okay.
Rich is going to schedule one to come out to the city council meetings to provide a presentation on that. And we are working on doing some public outreach at the local farmers markets for each of the cities to provide additional information and looking for opportunities to do public outreach in those communities.
Thank you.
Okay, in the month of August.
Thank you. Any other director questions? No? Well, thank you. I know I stopped earlier during the week and asked questions about the routes around Livingston, Planada, Alegría, my district, and not much in Merced because, I think Merced's already set up pretty good. But thank you for the information. And if any directors, would like to, just a suggestion that, look at your routes for the bus, and in case there's any comments from citizens, because I know that we think that some routes need more attention, but they know they're doing the work, and I know sometimes we feel like they're needed and they're not. But I think just work with Mauricio and the rest of the transportation team, and they'll give you more information for your citizens. So thank you, Mauricio. Yes. Any question by the public on this item? No, Mr. Garcia. Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 10. State Transit Assistance Fiscal Year 2016-17 claim for quarter third quarter allocation is an action item. Matt Fell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This is a two-part action for the transit system to get their state transit assistance money. So the first part is the Transit Joint Powers Authority submits a claim, and then MCAG can act on it. So that's why this is going to show up twice. And this is for operations, and it goes to the transit operators in the county, of which we have one. So it's pretty much routine action to send the money to the transit system.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions by the directors? Go ahead, sir.
So you said, so this is a two-part?
Right.
So we have to make a motion on the first part, or can it both
It's
be
on,
combined
yeah, it's on
and
the
together?
agenda later.
They can be combined?
No. Oh.
No. Okay.
I don't know.
The first portion of the action is under the Transit Joint Powers Authority, and the
Okay.
second part is under MCAG.
That's what.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions by the public? If not, I'll call for the question. Any,
We need first and second.
yeah, motions?
I'll motion.
Motion by McDaniel and second by, okay, who's fighting over there? Director Pereira? Any, okay, call for the question? Ayes?
All those in favor say
All those in favor?
aye.
All vote nays? No? Ayes have it. Okay. We'll move on to Merced County Association of Governments. Item number 11, Caltrans report. Information item, Tom Dumas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, directors of the board. I'm Stephen Martinez from Caltrans. Some quick updates, and I'll take any concerns you might have. Statewide, SB1 will provide more than $270 million in planning grants for local communities over the next decade. This includes transportation planning, $25 million annual grants for local and regional planning to support the goals and best practices cited by the CTC and its regional transportation plan guidelines. That also includes climate change adaptation planning, which it will provide $20 million over the next 3 years to local and regional agencies to support resilient planning for areas that are potentially vulnerable to the climate change. Additionally, with the SB1 funding, Caltrans will replace or repair at least 17,000 lane miles of pavement, 55,000 culverts and drains, 7,700 sensors, signals, and signs, and 500 bridges over the next 10 years. Regionally, the CTC, or statewide, the CTC has allocated nearly $953 million to 124 transportation projects. Regionally, this includes the UC Merced Parkway in the city of Merced. This is $5.3 million to build Campus Parkway Segment 2A, including widening along SR 140, developing connector ramps from SR 140 to Parkway, and constructing storm drainage systems. Yesterday, Caltrans District 10 held a kickoff meeting for the Walkable Winton Town Center Plan. This is a Caltrans Sustainable Communities Grant awarded to the Merced County Community and Economic Development Department. The grant award is $131,000, as intended to prepare a plan to create a more vibrant, walkable town center, increasing active transportation and reduce vehicle miles traveled in the heart of the town. Some construction advisories. We had 2 projects start this week. The Mission Avenue turn pockets, which realign State Route 59 at Mission Avenue, installing left turn pockets for both directions and widening the shoulders in each direction to improve efficiency and enhance traffic safety. And also on State Route 59 paving overlay, this is an improvement project on 59 that will repave the existing roadway, shoulders, and the on and off ramps from 152 in the city of Merced. Next week, we're starting the 152 median Merced median barriers, which is a safety project near the San Luis Reservoir. Other projects currently underway. We have a 99 safety improvements, which is relocating overhead sign structures at exit ramps at various locations from the city of Merced to the city of Modesto. We also have the Merced to Gustine 140 paving project, which is in works and expected to be completed in December. Due to the wildfires, SR 140 is closed from 8.8 miles east of the Merced-Mariposa County line at Schoolhouse Road to 4.2 miles east of the north junction of State Route 49 at Triangle Road. Drivers should plan for 10-minute delays and seek alternate routes because of these advisories. Regarding in Los Banos, the 152 11th Street, this has been an ongoing issue at these meetings. The district has made some recommendation, and currently a conceptual report is being developed to estimate costs and schedules to help make repairs for the pedestrians, once again on 152 and 11th Street. Last week on Wednesday, the district met with Chair Espinoza, and out of that meeting, the district has 3 recommendations and activities they're conducting. First, our traffic safety and operations team will redo a traffic pedestrian count at SR 140, and at Plainsburg Road intersection in September of this year. Traffic safety will also perform pedestrian studies, and traffic operations will perform always stop and traffic signal warrant studies. Merced County will initiate a roundabout project. Caltrans will provide oversight support for that. Also, traffic operations has initiated an operational investigation in Livingston on Winton Parkway due to concerns of lane drops on eastbound Winton Parkway on the southbound on-ramp. And lastly, traffic operations has initiated an investigation on State Route 99 at Appleby due to the off-ramp having a tight curve and us being worried about sight distance. Please slow for the cone zone. Are there any questions or comments for me?
Directors, any questions? Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The information that the gentleman has read, is that available to send out to the directors of this board?
It should.
Well,
Yeah.
it's my current notes. I could send it to Joy and she could distribute it.
Okay, that would be good if we can receive that information. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I'd just like to state, that, I attended with about 20 residents from Planada and a couple from Livingston and myself. We talked about the light at 140 in Plainsburg, and like the gentleman said, and, the result was more of a, depending on the count again, or roundabout, the best use, or, as long as the traffic is, is calmed, I know maybe the best use will be a roundabout, and then Dana also from the county attended, and they're going to look at the numbers there too as well. So, and also too, I think the bottleneck in Winter Parkway, we have it on the agenda, so I'll make my comments on that one then. So, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public on Caltrans? No? Thank you. Item number 12, it's information, discussion only. On A, MCAG newsletter, July 2017. Item B, state clearinghouse letter. Item C, administrative modification number 4 to the 2017 Federal Transportation Improvement Program, congestion mitigation air quality. Item number D, minutes on the July 12, 2017 Technical Review Board meeting. That's it. Okay. Any questions on these? Okay. If not, we'll move on to item number 13, consent agenda. This is an action item. 8, State Transit Assistance Fiscal Year 2016-17 claim for quarter 3 allocation. B, resolution authorizing the examination of transactions, sales, and use tax records. Okay. So any motions or questions by the directors?
I had a question on 13B. The staff report says if there should be a need for staff to examine sales tax transactions, what would that need be? What would be a scenario where that would be important for staff to have that information?
That would be to make sure that we're actually receiving the correct allocation from the Board of Equalization.
Okay. And this is new just because of Measure V?
Yes.
So we haven't had insight into that?
No, we've
previously?
never received sales tax revenue before.
Okay, that's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure.
Any other questions? Okay. Any questions by the public? If not, any motions to approve the consent agenda?
Yeah. I'll move to approve items 13A and B.
Okay, is there a second? First by Director Murphy and second by McDaniel. Okay. And I'll call the question. Call for question. Any ayes?
All in
Favor?
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 Aye.
Good for doing that.
All opposed, same
Nice?
sign?
Yeah. Oh, nice?
No.
Okay.
Just all in favor, say aye. All
Okay.
opposed, same sign.
Okay, thanks. Measure passes. So we'll move on. Item number 14, oral report, transportation planning and programming update information. Matt Fell.
I've done a lot of things in the last 6 months, but I haven't tried to be Matt yet, so I'm not going to do that. So we're going to split this really quickly. I'm going to throw a bunch of dates. I just want to give you a quick update on Measure V. We're getting a lot of questions, so you'll be the first to hear these, but you do not need to write them down or commit them to memory. I will be sending you an email with all of it in there tomorrow. One, thank you to those jurisdictions that have already turned in your signed funding agreements, and we look forward to getting the remainders, and we've got money to be issuing you. We have received our first allocation of measure funds, so we look forward to getting the rest of those agreements in. In terms of dates, we have a save the date out for the first Citizen Oversight Committee. That is going to be August 23rd from 10 to 12 at MCAG. The committee has been notified, and so we'll be getting that formal invitation and agenda packet and everything out to them, but I'll include that in your email with the rest of these dates tomorrow. Also working on the East Side and West Side Regional Projects Committee meetings. I know these are of great interest to many of you, so we have secured the dates of August 16th for the West Side. That's August 16th on the West Side. It'll be at the Los Banos Community Center from 2:30 to 4:30. And then we'll be, just for your information, we'll also be holding a workshop out there for the RTP following that, and we'll hear more about that from our team in a minute. And then on the east side, it will be the next day, which is August 17th, from 1 to 3 at the county administration building in room 310 is the bigger one. That will be right before your August board meeting that will be at 3 o'clock the same day. And just because we're talking about schedule, that evening, it looks like we will also be hosting a mixer for the Merced County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce at MCAG. So you get to spend the whole day with us. So you'll be getting that invitation out as well. So we're just waiting to get the board confirmation from the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce's board of directors, but it looks like that's going to happen. And that's it for me. Unless anyone has questions on Measure V, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Any questions? Questions by the public? No? Yeah, one.
I just have two questions, okay? One, actually, either I didn't understand the last, what was it, item 13, okay, A and B. Was that two motions or was it one motion? And then I have the question for the staff also as well.
Yeah, but we're already on number 14.
I know.
So.
I know that. I know we're on item 14, but I could barely hear you. Went way back there. See, so that, I just needed to get some clarification from legal counsel.
It was one motion to approve item 13A.
Okay, I thought it was two motions. Okay,
one motion.
I just want to get some clarification. Also, as far as the transportation planning and programming, okay, is there an advisory report on that is given? In other words, from input from the public, in other words, in regards to their planning? That was my question.
It'll be given later. I think as soon as they're finished, I guess the report will be coming out, right?
Matt and our team that we'll introduce in a minute will be giving an update on the regional transportation plan and talking about the events that we've been having and that you attended. So that's coming next.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay. All right, if not, we'll move on to item number 15. Okay. Oh, that's right.
I interjected myself there.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Just a couple updates on some of the stuff we've been doing. We have items on the agenda for several of the important items, but these are some other things that are going on. We did have a meeting to talk about a regional bike path between Merced and Atwater, and county staff and city staff and Atwater. We're all present, so that's proceeding, and you'll hear about next steps, I believe, next month, some potential options and next steps. Another thing is that we submitted a grant application to the California Energy Commission to study and do a pilot project to explore some shared mobility with electric vehicles. So California Energy Commission wants to reduce emissions and all that, so they're paying people to test out kind of like an Uber type system where folks, and they're really targeting disadvantaged communities. So we submitted a grant for that, and it's based on that valley-wide study that's been going on. So we got a lot of good information from that, and UC Davis helped us with that application. So just to let you know that that's in, and we'll hear about that this fall. And then lastly, just to give you a heads up, that the STIP process will be coming up, and you'll be hearing about that next month. So Regional Transportation Improvement Program, where this board decides how to program money. Just wanted to let you know. You might have been hearing some about that, but we'll be bringing you some more information next month. That was it.
Okay.
You got any questions?
Any questions? One.
Not a question, just a thank you for the follow-up on the bike path. What I'm calling the Atwater Merced Bikeway.
Okay.
Not to be overshadowed by the Merced Expressway. So, but thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
No? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to item number 15. Regional Transportation Plan Presentation by Kimley Horn and Associates.
Thank you. I'm not Kimley Horn, but I wanted to introduce them. So we have consultants helping us prepare the Regional Transportation Plan. We're doing workshops this week, so I wanted to introduce Jim Damkowicz, who's the project lead for Kimley Horn, and he's got some other firms helping him on his team, including RGS, Regional Government Services, and Kendall Flint and Steve Flint from RGS are here, and I'm going to let them take it away.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, again, my name is Jim Damkowicz with Kimley Horn, and I'm managing the consultant team who's acting as an extension of MCAG staff for the completion of the 2018 Regional Transportation Sustainable Community Strategy. We have a quick presentation. I'll go through what it's all about. It should, okay, here we go. So it's regional planning, and as you know, with SB 375, it's more than just regional transportation planning. There is an element of regional land use planning that we'll be working with all the local agencies on to show how those two things in coordination with one another can achieve greenhouse gas emission reductions and the targets that have been established by the California Air Resources Board. So real quick, it's federal state mandate. As you know, it's a long-term plan, 20-year horizon at least. I think we're going to go out to 2042. Don't ask me why. 2040 seemed better for me, but no, there is a reason for it, but no need to go into that. But it's updated every 4 years, and I'm aging myself, but RTPs used to be updated every 2 years, and now it's 4 years, and I know there's a lot of discussion to try to get that extended to 8 years. I think we would all probably breathe a sigh of relief if we could do that, so I'll stay tuned on that. So it's a multimodal plan, of course. It reflects and should and must reflect a shared vision of the county and all the cities. And again, it links transportation investments with land use. So these are the must-dos. We must have a prioritized list of projects by project type. The plan must be fiscally constrained, which means that the cost of all the improvements that we would like to include in this plan must be able to come within the projected revenue streams for the life of the plan. And these are things that we'll be working with each of the local agencies on to make sure we can meet those requirements. It must also meet federal air quality conformity requirements, which basically says that the projects and programs in this plan cannot compromise the region's progress towards attaining the federal air quality standards, the health-based ones. As I mentioned before, SB 375, it deals with climate change emissions, greenhouse gases, and of course the federal environmental justice order, which is presidential order in Title VI. Those will be well documented and satisfied as part of this plan. Those are the musts. These are the shoulds. Although regional housing needs, we must show consistency with that. It's not an update to the RENA. It's simply we show consistency out to about 2022, which is the life of that. But anyway, the shoulds are the 2017 RTP guidelines, the statewide transportation plan. We want to show consistency with that. There's some new things on the board since 2014, the federal rules for performance management. We want to try to stay in line with that. There's social equity, healthy communities. These are things that are really have been emphasized in the new RTP guidelines that were released in 2017. And I will mention that we do have Encina advisors or part of our consultant team. Justin Adams is an economist that specializes in specifically social equity and environmental justice. So we're really excited to have him on our team. He'll bring a lot of value added in this arena. And we also have Mentor Harnish, who is a land use planning firm, and they'll be helping out with the land use scenarios. So the big key, though, is coordinating local land use with our investments in transportation. Again, this is required by state law. Let me remind you that it does not supersede local planning authority on land use decisions. However, we will be tearing off of your general plans and coming up with scenarios that can achieve those greenhouse gas emission reduction targets. So our approach is involved, it involves a very aggressive public outreach. That's what Kendall and Steve Flint will be bringing to the team. There's going to be a lot of collaboration with you folks as well as the local agencies. And we are already meeting with the local agencies to talk about their project lists, and there is a constrained list from the previous RTP, but there are also these unconstrained projects that there wasn't enough funding in the big scheme of things to include as part of the financially constrained list. As you know, this is an exciting time with Measure V, as well as with SB1, SB 132. There's an influx of new money. That's always gets people excited. So there will be this infusion of new money that can now be used for those projects that have been sitting on the wayside for probably quite a while. And we will look at the current and future land use plans and policies later on, about 3 weeks from now. Mentor Harnish and I will be leading that effort. So again, the good news, Measure V passed, SB 1 passed, and also SB 132 is exciting as well in terms of bringing ACE to Merced County, as well as Campus Parkway. Get some funding out of that. So we're going to look at state and federal legislative requirements. We must meet those. Again, the funding opportunities that are out there. And the main thing is just meeting those state and federal requirements. We're going to do that. In terms of key milestones, we're looking at establishing our principles and goals. Because of the new RTP guidelines and new things that have happened since 2014, we're going to take a look at the goals, objectives, and policies, make sure nothing's slipping through the cracks. And so that'll be something we're working on now. In fact, we've submitted our suggestions to MCAG, and they're reviewing that now. We're also going to create the land use and transportation investment scenarios. Again, that is going on currently and will go on for another 3 weeks to a month. And then between October and March, that's where the technical studies will occur. We will flesh out all the various performance measurements so we can compare the various land use scenarios. We'll be bringing those to the public so everybody can weigh in and as part of the public outreach select which scenario they feel best meets the needs for Merced County. And there will also be an environmental review component to that. That's being conducted by another firm under contract with MCAG. So with that, I will pass it over to Kendall, who will talk to you about the outreach efforts that are going on currently and will be in the future.
Hi again, I'm Kendall Flint. Some of you I recognize from attending the workshops this week. We have a very aggressive program planned, and I want to make it clear that we love workshops, although many people, residents in the county, do not attend workshops. We've got some things in store to make sure we can really engage beyond the people that normally come. So yes, we have 3 rounds of workshops. The first round occurred this week on Monday, Wednesday, and tonight on Thursday in Merced. We had a meeting Monday in Palos. We're actually going to go back there, though, on the 16th because we weren't quite as happy with the turnout we had, although last night's meeting was very well attended, we thought. I do want to address the concern that the gentleman mentioned about the dates on the materials. Some materials don't get dates for our frequently asked questions, collateral, some of the things that we're preparing for this. Those will endure through the duration of the outreach effort. However, things like our PowerPoint presentations or interim deliverables, those will be dated, and those all will be available throughout the process. Now, in addition to these 3 rounds of workshops, this week, again in October to look at the scenarios, and then again in the spring to look at the preferred alternative, we're also going to be doing a series of community presentations. And this is going to be a very deep look. In other words, we're not just going to go to the same old, we're going to be going to churches, we're going to be going to community groups, community clubs, diverse groups, people representing seniors, folks with disabilities, to make sure we're really getting a broad cross-section. We're aiming right now for at least 35. My guess is that is going to go up substantially. And in all the communities we're meeting with, we're asking people to give us names, information about groups they'd like us to come attend. We got 2 requests last night, so I anticipate that continuing to happen. We are developing bilingual materials. They will be available through the duration of the project, and we also have bilingual staff that is attending the meetings and facilitating when that is appropriate, which it was last night. We're working very closely with all of the local news media, including the smaller local papers, as well as online blogs and whatnot. So we're going to get as much information out as we can. And then obviously still work on social media. And in fact, I've noticed a few people who remain nameless who was posting away, so my family knew where I was this week, which was great, because my mom never does know. Again, I mentioned these 3 workshops. We're real happy about those. If you couldn't get to a workshop, the virtual workshop opens up tomorrow. And so that will let people look at all the materials and then weigh in so they can share their ideas, questions, comments in the comfort of their home. These will be available for all 3 workshops, and these will also be noticed and sent out via electronic emails, e-blasts, as well as information that we send in social media and to the local news stations. Now, we have a great website that has been created. This is mercedregionalvision.com. This is the clearinghouse for all materials that will relate to this effort, and that includes all meetings. Today's presentation, I believe, is also noticed on there. So any public meeting that is going to be held in this process will be there with, of course, links to the staff reports and whatnot, as well as interim deliverables from Jim and the project team. If there's something that someone wants to see that's not there, there's a comment section on the back. You can send me a note. We usually respond same day, but at the latest 24 hours to get that information out there. And all comments will be addressed by the project team and or through the environmental process. Again, on that, my name is Kendall Flint. This is my contact information. It's also available on the project website. And Matt Fell, who's the project manager for MCAG, is also available to answer questions. But again, the idea is to go through this process as efficiently, transparently, and get as many people as engaged as possible. So you will be seeing us at farmers markets, at many of your council meetings, board meetings. If there's a group of 20 people, I want to be there in the next year. So we're looking forward to spending some time. And that concludes our presentation. If there's any questions, I know all 3 of us are available to answer those.
Well, thank you very much. I know that tonight the meeting is in City Merced.
6 o'clock.
Director Murphy will be providing coffee and cookies, right? Just kidding. Comment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I was able to attend a portion of that meeting Monday in Los Banos. Although I had a prior commitment that I had to go to, so I wasn't able to stay to the entire meeting. And I think the reason why we didn't have any turnout except 2 residents in the community is that 5 days' notice just wasn't enough for community participation. So I'm really happy to hear that another meeting has been rescheduled for Los Banos, and I hope there's going to be sufficient advertisement so that the community members can come out. One of the things that I brought up at the meeting, and I'd like to express again today, is that there were a couple of projects that showed on the presentation that is going to be, as I understand, fully paid by SB1. My concern with that is in total, in presenting that project, it gives the public the indication that this project still needs money from the funds that are going to be dispersed for all the other projects. My suggestion would be one of 2 things. Either take those 2 projects off your presentation, or if you choose to leave them on, separate them out from the projects that need to be funded and indicate to the public that they've already been funded and paid by SB1. It's only fair to be full disclosure to everyone because most people don't attend every city council meeting or every MCAG meeting, and they're not fully informed as to what we're going to be funding out of Measure V and SB funds. So that's just a suggestion of mine, is that if any project is fully funded by some other means other than Measure V, state so that the community has a clear understanding about where the money's going. And that's what I have to have input on that.
Good comments, we appreciate it. I think what we were just trying to get at with the question is who supports these, not conveying information regarding how much traction they have in terms of their implementation. But point well taken, and I think Kendall's on it, so
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments, directors? By the public? Questions by the public? No, thank you very much. That was just information, so we'll move on to item number 16. SB 375 Greenhouse Gas Emissions Reduction Targets. Information only. Matt Fell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. We wanted to give you an update on the greenhouse gas emission target process. So as Jim mentioned, trying to meet the targets is a key part of the regional transportation plan that we're undertaking. So the state has a very ambitious goal, that they're trying to meet in terms of climate change. And one piece of that goal is what they have assigned to regional agencies to try and address in regional transportation plans, and that's the greenhouse gas reduction target. So the original target was set in 2010, and for Merced County, that was a 10% reduction in per capita greenhouse gas emissions from cars and trucks compared to 2005. And they're looking at, we're mostly looking at 2035 because the 2020 target looks like that's going to be achieved. So the target used to be -10, and in the staff report we show the table that the Air Resources Board has published, which shows what our recommendation was based on all the latest information. And we did that on a valley-wide basis. We submitted a very detailed report back in December that showed what could realistically be achieved, and that was the -12.7. And the Air Resources Board staff is proposing that it be -14 for us. So this is important anyway, but it's especially critical because we're in our process right now, and the Air Resources Board is proposing to adopt this number in October. So we're right in the thick, we'll be right in the thick of our RTP, and then we're going to come to you and tell you, well, this is the number they gave us, and we're trying to come up with a scenario that might meet that. So just to give you a heads up that that's going on. Valley-wide COG directors are submitting a letter of comment to the Air Resources Board, and MCAG is also submitting a letter just to point out some of the problems with their proposal, and we feel that it's inappropriate to treat the valley the same way that they do the big major metropolitan areas. That's one of the key points to be made, is that they have much more funding and much more ability to move quickly on these kinds of things than we do in the valley. So that's basically what's going on there, and you'll be hearing more about this as we go through the RTP. But if you had any questions, I could answer those now.
Thank you, directors. Any questions? Director Pereira?
Yeah, just one. Do you interact with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they're close partners.
Yeah.
Any other questions by the public?
I just had some questions for the staff that presented that presentation. You work together with the Air Quality Control Board, right? Well, all the data that was gathered, I guess it was last year, because we attended some meetings in Fresno, California, in regards to projects and all that. And I really don't know where it's at now as far as some of the proposals that were submitted, and I just needed to get some more feedback on that.
Yeah, maybe you can stop by his office and we'll give you more information. Okay? Thank you very much. Anyone else from the public? If not, we'll move on to item number 17. That was just information. Item number 17, Senate Bill 1 overview. And as well, this is information. Matt again.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to let you know, just a couple highlights. I put the information about Senate Bill 1 passing. most importantly, the table on the first page just showing roughly about what the new revenue is going to be by jurisdiction. And we put in the Measure V funds. That's the local shares. If $15 million comes in per year, and the SB1, the 17-18 year is a partial year because the tax isn't going to, the gas tax doesn't start till November 1st. So wanted to show you what those totals would be. Basically, you know, it's a very dramatic increase in the funds available to the locals. And then there's a lot of other information in there. So if you have any questions now or later, feel free to ask. There's a lot of stuff going on with SB1. There'll be additional funds coming in a bunch of different programs. So we'll keep you updated on those opportunities.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, directors? Public? Any questions? No? Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to item number 18. Local Transportation Fund apportionment for fiscal year 2017-18. This is an action item. Adopt a resolution 2017-07-20-20 approving the Local Transportation Fund apportionment schedule for fiscal year 2017-18 and authorize the staff to forward the claim forms to the local jurisdiction. Natalia Asen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Well, every year MCAG receives a certain amount of local transportation funds that are available for distribution. Well, the amount of monies that are available to be claimed by the jurisdictions depends on the annual unmet transit needs process. Well, that process was completed in May, and it was determined that there are unmet transit needs that are reasonable to meet. And so the key is that unmet transit needs must be funded first before any of the LTF funds can be spent on non-transit uses like local streets and roads projects. So now that the TJPA and YARTS have requested the amount of funds that they need for transit service, including the amount needed for the unmet transit needs, there will be $754,580 available for the local jurisdictions to claim. So that money is distributed by formula according to the jurisdiction's share of the total county population, and we've included the proposed apportionment schedule using the latest population figures from the Department of Finance. So we're asking that you adopt the resolution approving the LTF apportionment schedule for fiscal year 17-18 and authorize us to forward the claim forms to the jurisdictions so that they can get their money.
Okay. Directors? Any questions first? No? Any questions by the public? It's an action item, so no questions? First by Director Medano. Is there a second?
I'll say it.
Second by Director Pereira. Sorry. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, passes. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 19, Information Technology Services Amendment. It's an action item. Authorize the Executive Director to execute an amendment to the Apex Agreement to upgrade the IT services from the Gold Package to the Platinum Package. Christina Smith, wow. You don't look like Christina.
I'm not Christina, I'm Nat Baggies. Good afternoon, Chair Espinoza and the Board of Directors. MCAG is requesting to amend the contract with Apex Technology to upgrade from Gold to Platinum Package. The difference is the Gold Package requires online desktop support only and quarterly maintenance of the computers and servers. With the Platinum Package, they also provide remote desktop support along with a monthly maintenance and unlimited on-site support. The fiscal impact of this is $29,000, which is divided amongst 3 agencies, which is MCAG, TJPA, and RWMA. Each agency has already included this increase in the IT service in their 17-18 budget, which has been approved by the board back in May. So,
okay.
Any questions?
Any questions by the directors? No? Open up to the public. Any questions by the public? No, I'll close it. Any motions? Okay.
Second.
Moved by Director Laura and second by McCabe. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? No. Pass. Thank you. Item number 20, the West Side Regional Bike Path request, Merced College. This is an action item. Patrick Pittenger?
Oh, thank you very much. I know Director Volta isn't here this evening, but he was the one that asked for this to be placed on the agenda for discussion, possible action. We were actually, we as MCAG staff were approached by Merced College, and they met with us, and we were happy that they reached out to us and expressed their concerns about safety in Los Banos, people going, including students going from the city west to their campus there. And they have concerns with the safety of those folks because they're actually traveling along the highway, and there isn't a safe place for them to be that's separated from the vehicles on Highway 152. I believe we have a representative from the college, but I'll just finish up my part by saying that what we're looking for is possible direction to maybe convene a meeting and coordinate with the different interested parties and agencies. And we believe that would include the college, the city of Los Banos, the county, because a part of it is located outside the city, and also Caltrans, because obviously the highway the highway and the right-of-way is owned by the state. But if I may, I'd ask the representative from the college to speak.
Yeah, if you can, please.
From the college.
Oh.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Board of Directors. My name is Brenda Latham, and I'm the Dean of the Los Banos campus of Merced College. I'm here this evening to share with you that Merced College strongly supports MCAG taking the lead and moving this process to get a walking and bike path out to the Los Banos campus forward. Our priority, of course, is safety for our students who are walking, biking, skateboarding along the highway. There are more than 2,000 students who attend it during the semester. That's a lot of people whose safety is in my care, and I'm here asking that we move this process forward. There are some other benefits to the project. Listening to the Regional Transportation Project Plan, this walking and bike path could play into that very nicely as well. There's some green aspects of it, reducing car trips, and thus reducing carbon emissions and, in general, vehicle emissions, as well as creating opportunities for healthier lifestyles for our students as they, move out toward the college. Healthier because, A, they're not going to be right next to the highway, but also just creating that opportunity for faculty, staff, and students to bike to work. So we strongly stand behind this move toward having staff convene a committee, and let's move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, directors. My name is Carmen Ramirez. I am an attorney in private practice in Merced. Today I'm here on behalf of Merced College. I am a trustee of the Merced College Board of Trustees, and the board generally asked me to come here to make sure that MCAG recognizes the enthusiasm that Merced College has for this project. We're going to ask the directors to vote in support of directing MCAG staff to further develop this bike path that leads to Merced College. MCAG is the organization that is best positioned to move this forward, given the layers and the complexity of the intergovernmental play that's going to be at issue with everything from planning to actual maybe acquisition of property, permitting. Merced College, again, just wants to make sure that MCAG knows that they have an enthusiastic partner in whatever assistance we can provide, big or small, hosting, coordinating, whatever it is. We can bring cookies and punch too on my dime. But just generally, we would like to ask the directors to support staff looking into this project. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir.
We did notice that Carmen did say on her dime. That is on record, right?
Yeah. There we go. All right. Any questions by directors? Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to share my support. I think it's a really worthwhile project we should be looking at.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr.
And
Chair.
cookies too? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, and Supervisor O'Banion or Director O'Banion wasn't here today, but he is definitely in support of this, and he wants to be involved in the planning process of it. In fact, he's had conversations with the President Vitelli and they've been discussing this project. So I just want to make sure we include him on this.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I just wanted to make a comment that, this has been a long-needed bike path, safe way for our students as well as our faculty to get out to the college. The college has been there for some time, and it's risky when you see young men and women walking on the highway to get to school. So I certainly am in support of this. I understand from the mayor that at the last meeting there was something similar to this that was approved for the Atwater Merced bike lane. So, and I'm not sure if that project's on the highway, but being on Highway 152, we definitely need something to make a safe route and barricade anyone who's going to that college from being hurt, whether it's daytime or night classes. So I appreciate this board considering taking this on as a project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Does this require a motion, or can we just direct staff to proceed?
I would say we have a motion. I think we did a motion last time.
Typically, these in the past have been listed just as to provide direction to staff. It is noticed today as an action item, though, so you could have a formal vote directing staff to look into it. The result would be largely the same. You
All right.
would be
Well,
directing staff.
for funds, so moved. I move we direct staff to review the next steps in this bike path project.
Okay, let me open up to the public first, too. Any questions by the public? Comments? Okay.
Paul, I'm going to take the mic away from you pretty soon.
This is one of the things that I like to support too, but I just have a question, because this is an action item, and to give staff, I guess, direction, but is there a staff person that assigned to that, or what?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, yeah, if I may, Patrick Bittner, Executive Director.
Okay.
With the direction of the board,
Okay.
I'll be facilitating to make sure.
I didn't know who was the staff, because I did have some questions.
I'm not going to do it all myself, but I'll just admit that right now. But we have multiple competent staff folks that are going to be reaching out, like I said.
Oh, okay, because I wasn't too sure. I said, well, wait a minute.
No,
Is he a board member, or is he a staff?
I'm the director of the staff, and I'll be the one making sure that the appropriate staff members, get the right people in the room together.
Oh, okay, that's why I just needed some clarification on that. And, but I will be calling you, in other words, because I have some questions to ask them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments by the public? Okay, if not, then we have a motion by M&M, McDaniel, and McCabe, right?
Mm-hmm.
McCabe first, second McDaniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 21. Winter Parkway bottleneck. It's an action item again. I'm the one that requested this item to be put on there. So, like I said, I'll just go ahead. Last week we went to Caltrans, like it was stated earlier, and we addressed this bottleneck. And as I've addressed it in the past with MCAG as well. Probably this month or next month we'll start getting all the trucks from Gallo coming through B Street. Off of Gallo, the big Gallo winery, and they come through B Street and then go up Winter Parkway, and that creates a lot of, the bottleneck increasing with the Travel Centers of America there and the Quick Stop, all those trucks there. It just, it's sometimes unbearable, and, adding sometimes in the afternoons with the kids getting out of school of F and Robin, so it just, this is, CMAQ, it's just like, the CMAQ is, the air quality, the congestion is just tremendous, and, even the director said that, he has seen it. He came to McDonald's, and, it's just like, wow, where did I get myself into? Just to go southbound, it's both lanes merge, and, for the traffic, it's slow, especially with 1-2 trucks. If you want to get off of McDonald's, if 1, 2, or 3 trucks or waiting on the light just to go left to the freeway, they have to wait there forever. So it just it's a mess. So this is where CMAQ funds can be used for, and they say we could probably just put a retaining wall on the bottom there and fill it up and you know, but still, you know, it was addressed, it would cost like $500,000, so I don't know, we gotta look at that, so, I'll take any more comments from directors that have seen that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, through the chair, is this CMAQ eligible?
Yeah, I'm going to look at Matt and make sure he nods. Yes.
It is
thumbs up,
CMAQ.
Yes,
So-
it is eligible.
So is the process, the city of Livingston then, being that this is in city limits, would they have to apply for the CMAQ funding?
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Matt, come up and just tell us when the cycle is for application for the CMAQ funds.
Right.
Because this seems like it's a perfect project for CMAQ
Yeah.
funding, for sure.
Right, so CMAQ is congestion mitigation, air quality, and all of the jurisdictions have been getting projects, and the purpose of that is to reduce emissions, criteria pollutants, and also congestion. It's right there in the name. So if the project ends up being a turn lane that allows, you know, like a free right to get onto the freeway, that's certainly congestion reduction, has air quality benefits. So it's a CMAQ project. We just did a call for projects last fall, and typically we've been doing those every 2 years when we get another 2 years of programming capacity. So right now the program is booked for this year and next year, but there are 2 years out there. So staff has not determined when that next call for projects will be, but we can come back to you in the near future and let you know what would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence, though.
Yeah, through the chair, if we would put this forward as a priority to do this for the city of Livingston,
Right.
is there a way to be reimbursed from CMAQ if it qualified as a project?
Yeah, because Thomas, you know, essence, we've been going through this for the last 10 years as well. You know, we even brought some Jim Costa out there in the past, and you know.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may, first of all, I want to thank Caltrans for meeting with you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, and our representative from Caltrans actually mentioned that, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Caltrans is investigating that location right now.
Yeah.
So while I do believe that it is eligible for CMAQ funds, we don't want to discourage Caltrans either. So thank you again for meeting with our chair, and we'll make sure, Mr. Chair, that we will, you know, Matt had already followed up with Caltrans for input as well, and we'll make sure that while there are things you can do on the regional level, we'll also be working with Caltrans as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to state. So, you know, so I'll open it up to the public if there's any questions from the public.
I'm here also to give input in regards to and support to allocating funding for that project. I think it was long overdue. I noticed it when I first arrived here, and it's been already a year, and I noticed that, and that's one of the reasons I attend some of these council meetings and Board of Supervisors meeting and this meeting also. So I am here in support also in that project.
Thank you very much. You know, and I do appreciate you coming up and commenting on the items, and we do appreciate the citizens' comments. Thank you. Any other comments by the directors? If not, then I'll ask for a motion.
I'll move to further look at funding options for this project.
Second.
First and second by McDaniel, and first and second by McCabe. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Thank you. Move on to passes and move on to item number 22. Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority. Oral report, Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority monthly update. Information, Brooks Dyer.
Good afternoon. Everybody's ready to talk some trash? You have the tonnage report. I'm sorry, I didn't look up the page number, but you can see the tonnage is continuing to be strong, indicative of a good economy. And I kind of wanted to jump ahead a little bit to don't go to 25, but the concept of importing waste. Item 25 is about importing waste at Billy Wright landfill. We also import at Highway 59, although it's a much smaller percentage. We're currently only getting regular waste from Tuolumne County, from Sonora, and from Turlock Scavenger, who collects for the city of Turlock. So we do get some odds and ends here and there, but pretty much that's all we're getting from out of county at Highway 59. So when I ran the same analysis that I did for Billy Wright and look at, all those factors that all will change, so don't hold me to this, but my best guess is that Highway 59, with some of the valley fill, not all of it, would have about 55 years of life. At the rate we're importing now, if that would continue, we would go to 45 years. So it's a much smaller, Billy Wright cuts its life in half. But Highway 59, it's just 10 years. So I just want to bring that up now. Is that necessary to have an agenda item next month to continue to do that? Are you fine with that, or what's the pleasure of the board?
Directors? Go ahead, sir.
Did the TRB recommend sunset on importing trash, or was that for Billy Wright or only? Or? Like I read in the TRB minutes.
I was on vacation, and Marty attended and did that agenda item, so.
Sunset? Yeah.
Yeah, they recommended it also.
What year would that sunset? Is it 2030 or something?
They recommended Billy Wright. Yes.
Okay.
But not for Highway 59. I didn't present this to them yet.
Okay.
If you want me to run by them first, I'll be glad to do that.
I was just curious what their input was. So you're asking just for direction on Highway 59?
Yes, it's not an agenda item. It's just a discussion because I really want to do what you guys want to do.
Okay.
Chair?
Go ahead.
I have something that's just totally off the wall, different from, I mean, it's related to this, but it's not part of the subject. But has your department considered going around to the various cities and unincorporated areas in our county to speak to the councils about perhaps having their cities move to smaller trash receptacles rather than those big, large ones to reduce the intake in your facilities?
We have not, but we'd be glad to do that.
I think with the idea of Billy Wright looking at being closed in 2020 and you having maybe less than 45 years of space out on Highway 59, the less trash that people are disposing of in the big receptacles and moving to smaller ones gives you life expectancy in those areas. I know that in a lot of the major cities in the Bay Area and throughout California, they've already moved more than 10, 15 years ago to the smaller receptacles. So it might be worth the idea of looking at talking to the various city councils as well as to the county about looking at if their contracts are coming up soon or if there's any way that they can modify their contracts to move to smaller receptacles.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Any questions by the public? No.
I was going to say, do you want me to run the importation at Highway 59 past the TRB first? Is that?
I would recommend that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, glad to do that. Landfill gas. We are continuing to meet with the UC Merced, and we had a meeting Monday. And not to get too technical, but they basically are interested in not just electricity, because they can continue to put solar panels up. They want the excess heat from whatever engine or unit we would put there, and they would use that heat to offset buying natural gas to make heat for their boiler system. They heat all their water and do some of the disinfecting, whatever, with hot water. And so they're looking for something to displace that. That's what makes them be net zero. So we've talked to them about some alternatives, and we're, again, the dialogue continues, but hopefully, we've basically said, if we don't have a more written formal agreement in the next few months, we would probably not be able to provide a system by the time the campus hits the 2020 plan. So we're kind of, not that we're giving them a deadline, but we're telling them we need to move along. Okay. Mariposa is continuing to bring waste to us and take back some different forms of green waste, kind of experimenting, not so much this week. But I also want to bring that up, that I would anticipate that if the fire hits anything major, they have a tiny landfill that can accept very small amounts of waste. So I would expect, last I heard it was 30 structures, but if they have any kind of major debris from the fires, they would want to import to us. And my position would be that we would help them out. We would still charge the gate fee, but just want to let you know they would probably have an emergency order, and that they would pay for their waste to be brought down here, and they would pay us. There are a few, also serve on the Solid Waste Board that watches the legislation. And so there are 4 new tax increases, I think, that are headed this way. It's a good economy, so everything comes on us. And one of them is the garbage fee. There's $1.40 a ton paid for every ton of garbage that goes into a landfill in the state of California. And so right now, we're just hidden, that fee is hidden into our tipping fee of what you pay at the cities and at the gate rate. But it's going to go from $1.40, and they're proposing to go to $3. So that's approximately 10% of what most of you are paying just in tax. So we would propose, if that happens, to itemize that out, kind of like whenever you go to the store and you pay this much for the product, and here's the tax on top of it. So it would be a tipping fee increase, but it's none of our doing. It's just a pass through from the state. If it happens, I'll come back to you and get your direction on that. I just want to give you a heads up. They're also looking at the bottle bill. It has been losing money for many years. And so they're talking about it's a nickel now going to a dime, which helps us on one end. When we sell bottles back, we get more money for it, but the consumers and everyone will pay more, and they're going to probably raise the price of the bottle because they're thinking of tethering the cap so that the caps get recycled too. And lead-acid batteries and tire fees are probably also going to go up as well. So just giving you a heads up, pretty much all of them are going up. That's the plan. Billy Wright land purchase, we got some new information this week. And so again, not to discuss it in this setting, but I will get with Patrick and Emily in the next week, and we will probably talk, and probably in the next board meeting or so, it's probably time to have a closed session and figure out what you want to do, and we can discuss the negotiating. And the landfill gas migration problems at Highway 59, we've gotten a little bit of resolution on that. Some improvements with working on fine-tuning the gas collection system, but we know we need to add more wells, and so we've completed the design to add 8 new wells. And the good thing about these is, again, to get a little technical of the business, the gas migration appears to be at the lowest level of the landfill, and that was dug in 1972 or 3. So we really don't know exactly where that is. So our proposal would be to drill wells all the way through to the bottom till we hit the native soil again. Then we'll know how deep the waste exists, and then backfill that with some clay, and then install the well so it goes to the very depths of the landfill, and so we can capture the waste at the very bottom of the landfill. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the best approach to solving the problem permanently. So some good news on that regard, and this is probably around $100,000 for all 8 wells, so it should be very cost effective. Okay, that's it for the oral reports. Any questions or comments?
Well, any question by the public on the information provided? No? Directors, questions? No? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 23, Master Consultant Agreement Update. Brooke, again.
Yes, it's just an information-only item, but I just want this for the new board members. The way we set it up was that you approve the budget, so you approve all the capital projects line item by line item, so you know what you're spending. And then you approve the contract with these firms, and then as we go, we specifically do work orders, and so you're just seeing a summary about every 6 months of where that money is going.
Okay.
And item 24?
Okay. No questions? No? Okay, move on to item 24, authorization for design and construction of Phase 6B at Highway 59 landfill. This is an action item.
Recall that we had proposed to fill in the valley because there's no excavation required, it's very inexpensive, a lot of excess capacity that we could use and extend the life of the landfill. The rub is that we would be putting waste on top of or against the side of a closed landfill. So for the water board, this is unique and a different approach, and so we would like more time to negotiate with them, and so we can go back to the original fill sequence of 6B, which we will do anyway. Once the valley fill is filled, we would go back there. So it's just changing the order of the construction. And on a positive note with that, the water board did agree to meet with us August 1st. And so we can, they're open to discussions about reopening that other portion of the landfill. So it seems like we may make headway with that, but it'll be too slow. The current phase will fill up, and so we need to move forward.
Okay. Any questions, directors? No? Okay. Question by the public? So we need a vote on this. Okay. Any motion?
So moved.
First by Director Pereira, second?
I'll second.
By Mr. Alvarado? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? No. Okay. Pass. Item number 25, authorization to import municipal solid waste at Billy Wright landfill. It's an action item.
And again, this is what I presented last month, that the life of the landfill goes from almost 80 years to about 40 years at the current rate of importation, and so we will do that for 3 years while we're investigating the land purchase.
Okay. Any comments? Comments by the public? No? Close it. Any motions?
So moved.
First by McCabe, and is there a second? Pereira? Director Pereira? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, pass. Now we'll move on to item 26, Executive Director's Report.
All right, thank you much, Mr. Chairman. I admire the efficiencies of these meetings, so I'll try to talk fast myself. I'm primarily in listen and learn and meet all the stakeholders out there. I meet a lot of good people, and and I've had a lot of, even lunchtime's been very productive. We have lunch with a lot of good folks tomorrow. We got the CEO of the county and a lot of other good folks I'm meeting constantly. But I'm not going to repeat anything that a lot of the good staff members said out here. Stacy, for example, already talked about RTP, Measure V. The only thing I have to add there is that the RFP is due August 11th for our consultant that will advise us on financial matters related to Measure V. And at the request of the TRB, we've extended the offer to the TRB members to be on the evaluation panel for that consultant. So we already had one response, so we appreciate that, and we look forward to bringing that consultant on board as well. The contract for the transit operations and maintenance facility has now been executed, and I took the opportunity to give a call to the president of ACME. And he reassured me he's going to have some great people working on the job, and he's eager to get started. And he noted the 18-month period of the contract, and he said, we shouldn't need that long. And I said, well, we don't want to slow you down either. Brooks already just covered the Regional Waste Authority. I don't need to add anything there. We've got some really good and important meetings that we've already had and upcoming here shortly about ACE with our partners, primarily to the north, about the extension of ACE coming down. There's a lot to talk about there. Schedules, funding, all sorts of good things. What else? We've been working with our partners at Caltrans on some of the things that are more behind the scenes, like, just making sure, money that we use to support all these good efforts, keeps flowing, just basically keeping things running. And we're also working with our valley-wide partners in the San Joaquin Valley, on air quality issues and the like. So it's been a busy few weeks, and more to come, I'm sure. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we'll move to item 27, Director's Report. We'll start at the end of it. Nothing?
I just wanted to make the board and the public aware, just before our meeting started, CAL FIRE said they're going to have a community meeting in Merced this evening for the Detweiler Fire at the Merced Theater at 7 p.m. So similar to the one that was held in Oakhurst last night, there'll be an opportunity for anyone that has questions or concerns or wants to help. So all the team will be there in order to answer questions. And I watched some of the live feed of the Oakhurst meeting last night, and they basically stayed until everyone's questions were answered. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Raymond?
Just Director Price wanted me to send his apologies and his regards because he couldn't make it tonight or today because he's out working, fueling the planes for helping putting out the fire. So that's it.
Okay. Director Pereira?
Yeah, I just want to, I guess, just announce that there's a donation group that's been formed here in Merced to help with the Detweiler Fire. And so they have a Facebook page. Amy Banks, I don't know, some of you might know her, but she's coordinating it. And the response has been so good that obviously they need more stuff, but the response is good that they're going to open up an office or a warehouse in Merced to collect donations and then be able to distribute those out to the people in need. And so if you go to Facebook and it's Detweiler Fire Support Group, You can look them up, and if anybody's interested in donating or wants to help, that's a great place to get connected.
Director Laura?
Nothing, thank you.
Director McDaniel?
Nothing, thank you.
Director Oliver?
Nothing to report.
Director Lewis?
Thank you. I just want to thank the board for the opportunity to have my annual appearance here again. And I want to thank Dr. Latham and Attorney Romero for coming today to make their presentation for the project in Los Banos, and thank the board for approving the opportunity to look into this. And with that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Director McCabe?
Nothing to report.
Okay. I'd just like to state that next week we'll be I'll be attending the meeting with, I think the executive director will be going to the San Joaquin Valley Rail, Joint Powers Authority in Sacramento, supporting the ACE train and Amtrak. They'll be adding an eighth, what do they call it? Daily trip, yes. I was trying to find that.
Earlier morning trip to Sacramento.
Correct. So, yeah, they want more daily trips from Sacramento, starting in Fresno, that ends in Sacramento around 8 in the morning. So I know that we're trying to get a lot of support. People from Modesto as well. There's, I know there's, what's her name? The ex-mayor of Riverbank, Virginia Madueño. Correct. And I know Jose Ramirez was a consultant with that before too, and other people. And I got one call from somebody down south. Of course, they don't agree because south of Fresno they'll have to ride a bus sometimes. So, but I understand. So we have to make our decision. So if anybody would like to go, it's on the 28th, next Friday at 12:30 in the Sacramento Council Chambers. Thank you. And any motion to adjourn? First and second? Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, Patrick. Good job, buddy. Way to kill that.